I started this YouTube channel arguing against feminists and SJWs, basically people who I thought were stupid and or trying to peddle some kind of cult-like groupthink mentality. Do you remember those days where the worst thing we had to deal with were misguided ideologues? Yeah, good times. But they've plumbed new depths of idiocy and continue to misguidedly ideologue at people. But this isn't their usual BS. It's an issue that, ironically, a lot of feminists want to ignore if they acknowledge it at all. But, as I'm sure you know, those in the group that do want to be independently minded women and stand up for their beliefs are targeted, harassed, and shamed by the rest of the herd. So much for literally all of their talking points. I've never had an issue with women as a whole. Well, unless you count my awkward teenage years. I know that's their most common accusation when they hear things that they don't like, as you're an ism or a phobe, but I've always tried to make the distinction between women and feminists, because there are far more sensible women out there who don't buy into this shit than feminist groups would have you believe. So why am I chewing your ear off about this? Well, it's simple. Women have a problem, and not a typical pathetic feminist non-issue, but an actual, real problem. And I'm coming up to bat for them, so brace yourselves. What is a woman? It seems their entire gender is being slowly pushed out of use by radical activists. And for some reason, they care more about the feelings of less than 1% of the population than they do about 50%, the female population. Because for the women, it's not about feelings, like it is for the trans community. There are many occasions where accurate labelling is not only important, but vital. And this obfuscates something that was traditionally the most easily distinguishable thing in life. Man and woman. For, may I remind you, the feelings of 1%. And when I say less than 1%, I really mean like 0.003% or something, and even among that small group, there are plenty that think it's a bad idea because it's just turning people against them. If your idea of inclusion is sidelining 50% of people to accommodate the 0.003% of people, then you are in dire need of a dictionary. Now, I'm sure that you've seen clips of people of authority being asked this question and having them flail around like a loose fire hose, trying desperately not to answer the question.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
One of the common arguments in response is, I'm not a biologist. Yeah, no shit. So I guess you have to be a meteorologist to tell if it's raining. Well, I'm not a biologist, and I'm not a geologist, so I can't tell which one's the rock and which one's the chicken nugget. Not a biologist. Surely, just by saying you're not a biologist, it means that you are de facto admitting there is a biological distinction. They also have absolutely no problem using the title woman when it comes to trans women. How many times have you heard the slogan, trans women are women? Well, if you can't even define a woman, then I beg to fucking differ that trans women are women. How the hell would you know? And doesn't their abortion argument kind of fall apart if you're unable to define what a woman is? They say it's a woman's right to choose, but if you can't define what a woman is, then that statement has no meaning. And speaking of abortion, during one of the many Roe v. Wade protests, I saw a sign saying that it's an idiotic move to alienate 50% of the population, or something to that effect. It was rather crudely put. But isn't that exactly what these ideologues are doing? They're completely trying to remove the word woman from the lexicon. I mean, here in Britain, NHS staff have been given special training to stop using the word woman. Even when it comes to things like pregnancy, they have to be called, like, birthing people and chest feeders. Can you imagine how dehumanizing that is? I would not be happy if man was replaced with, like, sperm factory. And frankly, birthing people implies giving birth, no? So abortion really wouldn't work with that either. Also, what would you call women who are sterile or can't give birth for any other reason? They wouldn't be birthing people, right? Malfunctioning birthing people? You know, 6 years ago, the idea of a Supreme Court Justice nominee not being able to tell you what a woman is would have been absolutely unfathomable. Well, you know, outside of some kind of outreach program to get a developmentally disabled Supreme Court justice on the panel for equality's sake. But apart from that, you know, unfathomable. When it was just crazies on the internet screaming into the void, it was one thing. You know, it was even kind of funny, because it couldn't do any harm. But now, it's in the highest levels of politics. It's infected pretty much everything. And that leaves us in a pretty precarious position. Well, that's all I've got for today. And as always, thank you for your time.